Well, Russian President Putin just pulled the plug on Europe's winter. Europe is marching into a winter right now, facing an energy disaster of its own making, by the way. It turns out when you shut down your own nuclear power plants and then your friends blow up your Nord Stream pipeline, it causes a lot of problems. And then when you support a proxy war in Ukraine. Now the EU is currently facing economic catastrophe. The energy problem is about to make everything worse. Why is no one talking about this, by the way? Because it doesn't fit their narrative that they've got Putin by the balls, right? We got Russia on the run. We got Putin by the balls. Turns out Putin has Europe by the balls. And he just tightened his grip, by the way. It's an uncomfortable image. Did you notice the EU just lost its gas lifeline, reads the headline? Yeah, with one deal, Beijing and Russia redirected energy flows that had run to the West for 50 years. Done. The mainstream media has totally ignored this story. I think the biggest story of the day, if you want to be honest about it. Yesterday, Putin and Moscow finalized the massive Power of Siberia 2 pipeline deal with China. By the way, this video has gone viral because Putin and Xi are just like walking along talking about getting
living to 150.
Yeah, living to 150 years old if you get organ transplants. Like, okay, just a casual conversation among leaders about organ transplants. Okay.
They're saying when we were young, being 70 was old, but now we're just kids at 70. Okay.
Well, Putin is in Beijing right now. Of course, you see there meeting with Xi Jinping, doing a lot of deals with China. And once this pipeline is complete, it will pump 50 billion cubic meters of gas every year straight to Beijing for the next 3 decades, this deal. Here is the map of the Power of Siberia pipeline, Siberia 2. Just so you understand, that's the gas that was once powering German factories and heating European homes. Now it's gone, rerouted to China. Sorry, Europe, you're screwed. Maybe you should have rethought your plans to support the most corrupt government in all of Europe, in Ukraine, and carry out a proxy war. This is what happens when you push your enemies closer to other enemies, I guess. They cozy up with one another. For context here, before the Ukraine war, Russia supplied 45% of Europe's gas. That's more than 150 billion cubic meters annually. Germany, which is EU's biggest economy, I guess still by today's standards, really, it was most exposed and it was crushed. Their economy has been crushed. Over half of its gas came from Russia, 60% of it through the Nord Stream pipeline. Then in September 2022, the United States blew up the Nord Stream pipeline under the Baltic Sea, permanently severing the artery of cheap Siberian gas. Sorry, Europe. Sorry, we blew up your pipeline. And the fallout, energy prices exploded. The very day that Nord Stream was attacked, European natural gas prices jumped 12%. At the height of the crisis, prices hit €300 per megawatt hour. 10 times the normal cost. In 2022 alone, gas averaged 163% higher than the year before, adding fuel to Europe's inflation crisis, which was already unfolding. But now it's not gotten any better. It's actually gotten worse. Households are still paying the price. In Germany, a 3-person family now spends €5,407 per year on energy. 5,000 euros? 31% more than they did in 2021. Home heating costs up over 74%. Heating oil up over 35%. Electricity up 17%. And analysts now warning that there's no return at all to pre-war cost levels in sight. It's not going to happen. And I don't know if you've been following the weather forecast, but they are predicting a brutal winter this year. Everyone at the gym today was talking about it. Watching the Weather Channel, they're predicting a brutal winter. So Germany's industry, once the pride of Europe, is buckling. The data is shocking. Just over the past 12 months, Germany saw an alarming total. Listen to this. 196,000 businesses closed down. You don't want that. 196,000 businesses in Germany closed in the last year. The chemical sector has lost jobs for 5 straight quarters now. Big manufacturing hubs totally closing. A new survey out this month shows that 30% of Germany's manufacturers are considering cutting production or relocating abroad to other countries right now. And nearly half of the energy companies in Germany are considering moving out of Germany altogether, moving overseas. It's devastating. And here's the kicker. Europe has survived 2 really mild winters with full gas storage, but that's running out. The EU gas reserves were just at 34% just a few months ago. They haven't been able to refill them. Sounds like Biden. Remember when he emptied the strategic oil reserves and didn't refill them? So as winter approaches, this is going to be really painful for Europe. And so get ready for rationing potentially across Europe. I wouldn't be surprised if Ursula von der Leyen and Brussels tells everyone in Europe, hey, you have a certain amount of gas that you're allowed to use before they shut you down. You have an allotment like Soviet Russia. You get 200 rubles a month to go shopping. That's it. So Europe chose to bankroll Washington's war in Ukraine, and Putin just dropped an energy bomb. I want to hear from our European friends in the comments below.